I'm Scarlett Bloom. I'm 19 and I am from the south side of Chicago, Illinois. I started mainstream modeling a couple years ago and didn't like it too much. And then I started adult work about in May of this year, so really recently.
What are the differences you think so far that you notice?
Mainstream modeling is very cutthroat and not forgiving. Um, it's not as fun and kind of just feels more like work. That was actually my first kind of job. I've only worked in retail before this. I think what I like about adult is that I've always been kind of an exhibitionist, and I've always owned my sexuality and been very proud of it, and not someone who was very like reserved when it came to that thing. And I like how in this work I can kind of do that freely and like, make a living from it, and it's just, I don't know, it's just really fun for me. One thing I would change is the stigma around it, and having to like explain myself all the time, or like the initial reactions I might get from some people, just because people generally don't have the same respect for sex work as they do for other work, or they don't see it as like a valid career. So I guess that's one thing that's something I have to adjust to. I guess it didn't feel too weird. It was kind of natural, I guess, because I like taking pictures of myself naked, and I don't know. I did like clip sales before I joined kind of like the adult industry, so I was kind of used to it, and it felt like the big difference was I wasn't like in my bedroom filming anymore, but I don't know, it felt natural because everybody was really like casual about it, so then I was kind of casual about it. I do, and um, like my agents that I work with and stuff, they make sure that like I kind of know my worth, and it makes me more comfortable because I know like what I'm bringing to set, and just like I try to be confident in my work and like, give a good performance and all that, so that I do feel as confident as possible. And even if I am nervous, usually that feeling kind of goes away after the first couple minutes. I would say it's very different because it's very directed, and um, you kind of bring your own thing to it. Like, I don't know, like your style, but the only difference in movies is it's just a little more like you're kind of a little bit just like following a script to a degree. So overall, I think I've gotten a lot more support than I expected. But then again, I think that just speaks to the people I surround myself with, that they're open minded. So I've been fortunate in that sense. I did have some favorites like that I just used to watch like before I had any idea I would be in porn. And I had my first experience like meeting stars when I went to like Exotica earlier this year, and that was really cool for me because I was like seeing these people in person for the first time that I had only seen like on the internet, and it was really cool. Like some of them were very willing to like take me under their wing, and sex workers typically are just very supportive of each other, and that was one of the first things I realized was how open and accepting the community was. And it was like I went from one day like fangirling over one star or something to the next day like we were hanging out and they were trying to help me and like give me any like tips or anything I wanted to know. So I really love that about this.
That's great. Who's someone that you met that you were like, oh my God, I'm now their friend?
I did make friends with her. I was like really nervous to go up to her, but I saw Lexi Bell in person and I was like fangirling. Um, Nina K, she was really, really sweet to me. And it was like giving me a lot of insight. And I don't know, there were just a lot of others that I just recognized. And I was just like, it felt very real to like be in their presence. Ooh, yeah. I'm friends with like a lot of like rappers and producers, so I'm kind of surrounded by that a lot. I guess my style of music that I've been into recently is very like underground or like what some people might call like SoundCloud rappers. Yeah, I really like a lot of Atlanta rappers like Young Nudie, and I really like Gunna. I have like friends that have like production companies too, and they throw like music festivals. So I got to see like a lot of those artists just in person and be backstage and stuff like that. But I'd say overall my style is like underground or kind of like Atlanta style. Or like I grew up kind of in the era of like Chief Keef and like Young Chop and like all those artists. And then being from the south side of Chicago, it was like right in that timing where it was just like this kind of like subculture of music was forming of like drill music. And so I was really like immersed in that. And I think that's influenced like my taste and style a lot.
How do you like the LA scene?
It's interesting. I think right now it's really on that whole like grunge rap kind of like with Lil Peep and like the whole goth boy clique and like all that. I think that's still like influencing like the music scene here a lot. So I haven't really like really got into it, but I mean I've gone to like a couple like events out here so far, but I like it. It's a little different, but it's like still kind of on brand. I actually am very into fashion design. I took a few classes. Like when I was in high school, I took like college level classes, but for high schoolers at like the Art Institute in Chicago. I've taken like sewing classes, so I learned how to like make my own garments and stuff like that. And it's something like hopefully I'll pursue more in the future. And then I was into makeup for a while. I've kind of had like a lot of phases or like different things that kind of go together. And I was here in June actually training with Priscilla Ono, and she's Rihanna's makeup artist. She's the global artist for Fenty Beauty. So that was like a real honor to work with her, and it was an interesting experience. But I think I just realized like cosmetology isn't 100% my thing, or at least not professionally. I don't know. I've thought about that question a lot, but I think I just hope that I am successful and comfortable and just established and not like hustling. I don't know. And just hopefully my lifestyle is ideal at that point. But I'm very like I don't know, I always think 1 minute I want something and then like the next I'm kind of like on a new thing. So it's hard for me to like predict that far ahead, like what I'm going to be into or like, where I want to be settled or like that kind of thing. So I guess I'm just kind of like taking things like maybe not day by day, but just kind of letting myself, because I'm young, so I'm just letting myself like explore different things.